There you go. Live in your face, ready to go. If you're watching this as a rerun instead of Saturday morning here, live edition on January 21st, you can skip ahead 17 minutes to when we start with the radio side of things. Otherwise, getting started up here on the early side so stations can get this going on. Make sure the audio's coming through in the back and we can get the timeline down. Excuse me. Picked up a sniffleupagus. Yeah. I got a chunk of Coyote tournament. See which ones are outdated here today. A lot of them today. That one's old. Okay, that one's done. Got the I'll go through them with you here. Morning, Scott. Morning, Waylon. Grant County Fair Board Big Buck Contest tonight. Bomb diggity. Dakota Territory Gun Collectors Bismarck is going on this weekend. That is in February. That's a ways. That one's done. That one's done. Okay. High stakes calling contest. Eagle Butte, South Dakota's today. Keene Volunteer Fire Department is today. Coyote Tournament. Reynolds Coyote Tournament's today. Northwoods on the 27th. I'm not sure where this one is. I don't like that. You know, when people they send me Coyote tournaments, but they never tell you where they're at. That one I don't get. You take the Coyotes, February 3rd and 4th. And I looked everywhere. It's somewhere in South Dakota, but it does not say where. Pertinent information if you're going to run a Coyote tournament. Yeah. The Wrighton's on February 4th. Mule Deer Foundation is the February 11th. Danny's Place Coyote Tournament coming up. All kinds of good stuff. Okay. Those are ready to go. Let's see what else going on here. Let's take our daily dose of ivermectin, shall we? Should say weekly dose. Minneapolis. What would you do in Minneapolis? What's out there? Morning, Jim. Morning, Dave from Minnesota. Cheers to you. You think after 2 years of doing ivermectin shots that would I get used to it, but nope. Let's see here. Ooh, what is all this about? I am in a different chat here. Let's switch accounts. How do you do that? There it is. I don't need to be on that. Morning, Karen. Steve Bakken, good morning. All right. So, there you have it. All right, stations, we'll do a little countdown here. It's 6:55:00 coming up in 30 seconds here. So, get you an early countdown, if you will. Other than that, I'm going to get a phone number ready for Jamie Olson here today. Never happened. How come somebody needs to call him and say, why don't you have tournaments anymore? One, the price of coyotes is like $5-10. That might be one of the reasons. Like the fur bears didn't even call me this year to even discuss I missed your time. There it is. 6:55:15. How about that, stations? I'll do that without talking here. 6:55:15. Coming up your way. 7:55:15 Central Time on Mark. Let's give the J-Rod here. Let's see what watch your ears. Let's see if he pays. See if he listens. See if he's. Is he awake? Is he awake?
Hello, Jamie.
Jamie Scott Bachmeyer.
Hello, Scott.
Not much, man. You're live on YouTube, our pre-show before we go on the radio side.
Oh, I'll keep the swearing down then.
Yeah, you're all right until we start the radio side.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, how's life treating you? How's the cattle?
Not too shabby. You know, it was a rough December. Holy moly.
Yeah, even here. I mean, our winters are generally mild in comparison, but it's been nasty here.
Yeah. And like ball chilling cold too, you know, like 70 below wind chills. So, yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, it was such a great time. So much fun.
So much fun.
So much.
Yeah, we got down to the coldest I got here during that stretch around Christmas. It was a minus 29 that one morning, but like again, the wind chill was off the charts.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think we had like 30 or minus 30, 31 somewhere in there. So it wasn't much. It wasn't much different, but of course we are a little further north here.
Yeah, what happened? We had some of those weather fronts that come in. And then I'm right on the north edge of that Laramie range. I mean, right there. So we're on the foothills. So at times the storms act funny along those mountains, and sometimes the cold air will just settle in and it won't blow out.
Really?
And, yeah, it's just been. I was out calling yesterday, and the oil field roads they had bladed the one road I was on. They had been bladed 3 times this week already. I mean, we just don't usually have to deal with that.
Yeah.
Road was all plugged up, and I'm having to hike through a bunch of crusty snow. That's always fun.
Yeah. You still doing a lot of work for ranchers?
Yeah. Never ends.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. I'm not complaining.
No. I went out and fed bulls yesterday. They're on every 3 days. I got to go out and take some bales out to them, you know. And the trail, we had a little dusting, probably a little half-inch dusting of snow here a couple days ago, and man, oh man, there was like a coyote highway over there in the east pastures, and I got to go through that pasture and get them cleaned out before I start calving.
Geez, I guess. Yeah, that'll be nothing but a problem.
Yeah, it was substantially more tracks over there than I expected it to be.
Yeah, so since the gas prices have gone, and, you know, they've settled down a little bit, but the fact that coyotes aren't worth anything right now, there's been a lot less guys out in the field. I've been picking up a lot more coyotes, seeing a lot more sign this year. You know, I'm on the same. So on deeded ground, it's about 144,000 acres I work on, and then there's probably another 10, 20,000 acres of state and BLM mixed in there. So it's a pretty good chunk, and there's not as many coyotes as there used to be, you know, because you're banging on it all the time. But gosh, I'm sure noticing a lot more this year than started noticing it more this fall, I guess. A little bit last year, but it's definitely on the uptick. Even our rabbits are starting to see more jackrabbits and stuff.
Same here too.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. You know, usually you don't see a whole lot of jackrabbits, but this year, I think that one tournament, you get extra points for different animals, you know?
Yeah.
I think I brought in 5 jackrabbits that night, so.
There's a guy in town here that's paying $5 a piece for them.
That's what they're paying for coyotes.
I know.
Isn't it sad? And whether it's a porcupine, jackrabbit, raccoon, or a coyote, you get $5 now. Hey, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, there's a tactic. So the jackalope, right? So that was invented or whatever. That's Herrick's from Douglas, Wyoming.
Okay.
So 3 generations have been making all the jackalopes that you see at all those novelty stores.
Yeah.
Anyway, they also do a bunch of other like head and shoulder mounts for like raccoons coming out of a knot in a tree and badgers and so all that stuff. The squirrels, they do all that oddball stuff. So I bring them all my non-targets. And
hold on, Jamie. I'm going to do a countdown. Station 7 o'clock, 70000 coming up on Mark. All right, sorry about that. Go ahead. We got 6 minutes yet.
Anyway, so he's always paid $15 for coyotes, $15 for red fox, and everything else is $5 to $10 depending on how big it is. So it's really nice. I just drive over after I get done checking all my gear. I just drive over to his place and drop off what I'm not going to put up myself. So like the good coyotes and the bobcats, obviously. But it's nice to have him picking up that other stuff. But he went from 15, now he's paying 5
Yeah.
for the Coyotes, because there was a goofball from town here that was really putting the coals to him. So he doesn't follow the fur market, right? He's got his own market.
Okay.
And so, well, he just does that taxidermy stuff, you know. So he's not
Right. He does his own stuff. Exactly. Yeah.
So there's a kid from town here that was driving to a bunch of tournaments and snagging all these coyotes for nothing, and then dragging them over to his place. And now he's so filled up with coyotes, he probably won't need to buy another one for the next 2 years. And so he dropped all of his prices. But I was getting 15 for a minute on carcass coyotes this fall.
You were really 15 still?
Yeah, because he didn't. Wow. You know, he just needed to. I wasn't about to tell him that the market was completely screwed. You know, $15 is $15. You know, especially since I only put up a handful of coyotes this year, just like the best of the best stuff.
It's sad, isn't it? And you're right. No, I mean, there's so many less people out hunting when the price goes to shit like this.
Yeah.
And it's just sad to see that. I mean, it should be like, you know what? It's still a management tool to go out and hunt these things, whether or not you're getting them. You know, I've from this fall all the way, I leave them lay unless it's a tournament.
Yep, and that's what a guy should do. I mean, because bringing in the problem was there's been over the last 5 years, and everybody's guilty of it. I mean, but trying to get a buck for a March coyote, you know, trying to get top dollar for a February coyote, and then it floods the market with all this rough looking fur.
Yeah.
And then it takes forever for that, you know, that inventory to deplete itself. And
well, shit, the raccoon inventory still isn't depleted. I mean, they still got thousands of those things still on. You know, I mean,
yeah, I haven't sold a put up raccoon in 7 years.
Yeah,
they're just.
Here's what we need. We need to have like some Hollywood, like influential people just all start wearing fur, and then you'll see the price go like crazy.
Well, the whole coyote market was driven by Kanye West and Kim Kardashian wearing those Canadian down parkas. Oh. I think it was up at Jackson Hole. They got, you know, pictures taken of them, and their kids were wearing them too. So they're all wearing the same matching coats. And then they were at the ski slopes, and their sisters were there wearing these Canadian down coats. And that's when the coyote market went nuts. And now that same company is using fake fur. They're not using, but it's because the market crashed. So they were having problems with getting the quality of fur that they want, trying to wait. So they were buying everything. Like if there was 1,000 coyotes sitting there, they would buy all 1,000 of them, 4,000, whatever. And then they would take them back to their plant. They would sort them, and then they would take all the stuff out of there that they didn't want and then resell it back. Well, then there ended up being no market to sell the shit back to.
Ah, I got you.
But they were buying, when I say they were buying everything, they literally would buy the whole thing, the whole lot, and then weed through it themselves, as opposed to like weeding through it at the marketplace and only buying the upper end stuff, because it drove the whole, you know, they would drive those things up so high. Everything got so expensive. But
wow.
Anyway,
there you go. I'm telling you, you know what, Jamie, you should start your own reality show and just start acting like those guys out in New Jersey do. And, you know, like Douglas Shore. You could call the show Douglas Shore.
There you go.
Anyway, I got some questions coming in here on YouTube. Guys on YouTube, I'm going to wait until I start the program, and we'll go through some of these questions and text messages. So minute and a half, Jamie, minute and a half here to showtime.
Yeah, those I've had 3 different producers contact me over the years to do just that. The last one wanted me to have a girlfriend that was a city girl, and then that I was falling in love with and wanted to countryfy her. And I shit you not, I could show you the email.
Are you? No kidding. They wanted you to do a I want you do it. Do it.
3 different times. I had HBO Real Sports call me up one time, National Geographic, and then a couple of 3 TV producers sent me emails, because I was, you know, I was kind of a. I was on the news a lot for years ago.
Jamie, one of your sponsors could be like Absolute Vodka.
There you go.
Jesse Flat just texts Grey Goose.
Yeah, I'd lean towards the Grey Goose. I'm not a big fan of Absolute. But
why don't you stand by here? We got 30 seconds of showtime. I'm going to go quiet. I'm going to turn you down, Jamie. Station 705-30, 705-30. 30 seconds of showtime. We'll do a countdown here. On mark. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Saturday edition of Dakota Prairie Outdoors. Heard all across the Dakota Territory on stations like KFYR, Bismarck, Mandan, KCJB, and Mina, KLTC, Dickinson, KOLY in Mobridge, and KGFX in the capital city, Pierce, South Dakota. And all legislative sessions are going on right now, and I'm getting messages from a couple folks here. Even though I'm not on the same side of the aisle, they're keeping me up to date on what's happening on the Snapchat down in South Dakota. Thanks for doing that. Don't forget, Mule Deer Foundation Northern Badlands Chapter 21st Annual Banquet's coming up your way on Saturday, February 11th at the Baymont Inn and Suites in Mandan, North Dakota. I'll be there as your MC and auctioneer. Hope you will be too. And you can get tickets. Just go online here. The Mule Deer Foundation has a few of these Gunnapaloozas going on around the area too. I know there's one in Bowman as well. So check that out. Well, good morning, everybody. My guest today is the man, the myth, the legend, the soon to be reality TV star, Jamie Olson. How you doing, sir?
Good, man. Good.
And people are wondering, what do you mean on a celebrity for TV, for a reality show? Before, on the YouTube side of things, we start the show a little early, but for all of those listening in Radio Land, Box Creek Outfitters, here's what you do here. You outfit. You're also coyotehunter.net. A lot of coyotes. That's what your job is to go predator hunting. But I made the comment here on YouTube that they should do a reality show, and you said you've actually been approached 3 different times to do a reality show on this?
Yeah.
What's holding you back?
Oh God, I couldn't even imagine having somebody like follow me around, especially around the house. And I'm single, so there's dating involved. No.
Maybe they could set you up with one of those Kardashian girls.
So you two, we talked about this a little bit, but the last letter I got, the most recent one, is that they were looking for me to have a girlfriend that was a city girl.
Yeah.
And that I was countrifying her into my lifestyle.
Taking her,
it's just like
coyote hunting.
They tell you ahead of time what they want, you know.
But what an educational thing it would be is to take that city girl and have it show the importance of the fur industry and the hunting industry and why it's important to do that instead of all these antis all over the place on TV.
Yeah. No, I had my bout with all those antis in 2012 when I got canceled, So I'm not in a hurry to get back to that. That was when I was working for the. So when I went through that, that was when the first offer came in to do it, and I really wasn't back then because I was working for Wildlife Services. Could you imagine though, if they would? The flying around, shooting coyotes out of the airplane, and the dating, and the outfitting business, and the predator control 24/7. It would have been a neat. I don't know. I'm sure I would have just got. There's no money in it. It has to be. There's another guide up in Montana that was on one of those Montana mountain man shows.
Yeah.
One of my clients had hunted up in Montana mule deer, and his guide was on that show. One of the key guys on it. I didn't watch the show, but he said the main guy, the old fart, ran lines or something like that. He was getting a pretty good chunk, 150,000 a year or something like that.
Okay,
it's not bad for a side gig. But he said for his part, it was like 15,000 or something like that. It was like it wouldn't be worth it for 15,000.
But Jamie,
somebody with a camera.
It's not about the money. It's about finding true love. Come on. That's what that's what reality shows are for.
That is not my future, man. I am done with all that.
Jamie Olson is my
guest.
We
should have a whole program. We should have a whole program on 50-somethings dating. It's fascinating. There's 4 types of women. And once you get that figured out and find out which quadrant you're in, it makes it a whole lot. I mean, it's a series for sure.
Okay,
That
so
I would do. Should have a dating series.
okay, so since we're on the subject, I want to hear what these 4 types of women are because you have piqued the outdoor interest because this deals with outdoors because you got to get out your house to go find these 4 different types, right? So dating over 50, what are the 4 types? And be PC about this.
Okay, so you basically have the married who has been married with children forever, right?
Yeah.
30-year marriage, has kids, recently divorced. You have the married 30 years, no kids, recently divorced. You have the single forever, 3 kids, all different dudes, right? And then you got never married and no kids. That's the 4.
But does the last one, does the one never married, no kids, does that
Yep.
lady have a lot of cats?
Well, we got stories about cats. I've got stories about cats, but generally, no, it's a dog. They got the best friend dog, and they drag that big mutt everywhere they go. It's in their bed, it's in the car, and they want them on your couch.
So which of the 4 have you attempted to date all 4, and that's why you're still single right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The single with no kids are the most fascinating ones. That's because they're mythical.
They're mythical.
But there's a reason why they're 50 and single with no kids, though. You find that out pretty quick that that's not an aberration. There's a reason why they exist in that, in that form.
I've seen a video of the hot crazy matrix. Is that part of this whole thing? Have you seen that video?
Yeah, but that matrix can be applied to each one of those individuals within those quadrants, but they're not the same.
It's okay. All right. I just got a text. This is the best 2 minutes of your show ever.
Oh, I even go as far as you're going to hate me for this, but this is the truth. This happened Thursday. I will, on new dates, I set them up. This is going to sound terrible. I set them up 2 at a time. So I go to the first date early, say that's 4:00. If it's a bust, I leave early. Nice to meet you. Nice first date. And then I go on my second date, which is at 8.
So how big is Douglas? I mean, have you dated everybody in the town?
I don't date anybody in Douglas.
Okay. All right. I'm just wondering.
Yeah.
Oh,
there's a saying about that where you don't.
Yeah, I know. You don't do that where you live. Yeah, I hear you.
I go through a guy has to kind of I think I generally don't date very much though. I'm pretty much, the kids are all out of the house. I hunt and trap for a living for the last 16 years. That's all I've done. That's probably why the 2 divorces probably had something to do with the amount of time I'm not here. But life's so good right now. The thought of trying to drag somebody into this and convince them that I'm not just screwing around all the time, I'm actually making some money. But I ain't trying to mess up the way things are going right now. I couldn't be happier with the way things are right now. Just really
good enough. Maybe they should have a coyote, farmersonly.com or something. Maybe there's like a coyoteonly.com or.
I got trapper stories. There's even trapper stories in the dating world.
Well, I tell you what, we're almost up against the break here, but I'm getting a text that this is my most unique show that I've ever started out with. But I'll tell you this, people are listening because they're all listening saying it's true.
It's true.
It's true.
Well, what they're doing right now is they're thinking about the girls that they know in their life and which quadrant they fit in.
Well, if they're single in their 50s.
Yeah. Well, that's just, to be honest with you though, I'm not generally dating 50-year-olds. I'm trying to date older girls.
Hold on, I'm up against the break here. Hold on, Jamie. We'll continue this on the YouTube side here. We'll take a short break, come back on the radio side after these.
This is Todd with Rounds Angus of Union Center. We invite you to join us at the ranch Saturday,
All right, then.
21st, 1 o'clock. We'll
got these playing in the background. We got a 5-minute break here.
Okay.
Oh, shit. That's good stuff, man.
All bulls
That's
are
good stuff.
First breeding season guarantee. For catalog and videos, visit Rounds.
Oh, I'm telling you this right now. I got a lot of bull sales. I had to head down to Union Center today, and then next week my show is live from. I know I'm still live on YouTube. I'm doing that as part of the YouTube side of things, man. That's what I'm doing for it here. So, anyway, next week I'll be live at Shriefer Red Angus here. So, yeah. But anyway, stand on the line here, Jamie. Stay there.
Old-fashioned hometown service. From remote deposit options to online mortgage applications, we are happy to serve you wherever you are. Learn more at dakotacommunitybank.com. That's dakotacommunitybank.com.
There's a reason that you're seeing more Red Angus cattle in the country. Great mama cows, high weaning weights, and easy keepers. Join the Shriefer family for their annual production sales Saturday, January 28th at the ranch just north of Golden Valley. They'll be selling 2-year-old Red Angus bulls, registered bred heifers, and commercial open replacement heifers. Free delivery on bulls within 500 miles, and you can bid online at DV Auction. The bullpen is always open, so come by anytime and view the cattle before the sale. Shriefer Red Angus annual production sale Saturday, January 28th at the ranch just north of Golden Valley.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
The 29th annual Top Cut Bull Sale, Saturday, January 28th at the 21 Angus Ranch, New England, North Dakota. Selling 164 top cut bulls, including 100% offering from 3 sires, KG Justified, Sit Stellar, and SAV Resource. Born and raised right at the ranch to give you well-mannered, extremely uniform, and deep-body genetics. For a sale book or to view the sale videos, go to 21angus.com. 21 Angus Ranch Top Cut Bull Sale, Saturday, January 28th at the ranch, just east of New England.
Cattlemen, do you want market-topping calves at sale time? You need predictable Charolais genetics from Sorority Charolais. Hi, this is Kaylee from Sorority Charolais Ranch. Our 40th annual bull sale is Friday, January 27th at the ranch west of Bowen. We are offering 65 performance-tested yearling Charolais bulls, and again this year, 5 registered replacement heifers. Free delivery up to 300 miles, and we'll feed them free till April 1st. Sorority Charolais, January 27th. You can follow us on Facebook and DV Auction. If you haven't tried a Sorority Charolais bull, ask a cattleman that has. He's the one with a big smile on sale day.
Pifer's Western team of Andy Murdoch and Jim Sabby would like to invite you to sit down and talk about the future of land planning. Whether you're looking at selling, buying, or options to hand it down to the next generation, Andy and Jim will lay out all of the options for you. It's a great time to buy or sell, and with interest rates to make it profitable. Pifer's Western team, Andy Murdoch and Jim Sabby. For more information or land updates, go to pifers.com. MoPro Guide Service, the best on Lake Oahe. Brent and his staff will give you the most enjoyable fishing experience, always having the latest in electronics, gear, and the most comfortable Lund boat on the water. Fish with somebody who lives in Mobridge, South Dakota, the heart of Lake Oahe. If you need a place to stay, the Morest Motel has newly updated rooms with free internet, a family-owned and operated business. Go to OaheWalleyes.com. That's OAHE Walleyes.com for the best fishing experience Lake Oahe has to offer. Western Frontier Insurance. Agents that understand you, your needs, and the community. Whether you're looking for coverage on your farm, ranch, home, or auto, you can trust that Western Frontier Insurance will find you a combination of price and coverage that works for you. No fancy jingles, no talking boxes or animals, just good neighbors helping to keep you covered. Western Frontier Insurance. Offices in Hazen, Washburn, and Wilton.
On that road, but don't you worry, one day I'll settle down. And when that time comes, I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around.
Welcome back, everybody. It's Dakota Prairie Outdoors Saturday edition. I'm Scott Bachmeyer, and don't forget the Mule Deer Foundation Northern Badlands Chapter 21st Annual Banquet coming up on February 11th. That is a Saturday. Get your tickets here. It's at the Baymont Inn and Suites, Mandan, North Dakota. I'll be there. I hope you are too. Oh, Jamie Olson from Box Creek Outfitters is my guest. Now, we've been talking the dating side of things here in the first 15 minutes because why not, right?
Right.
So here's some here's some text messages. Okay. Eric says, what if you were to date younger women? Maybe you wouldn't have to worry about these 4 groups.
I've been dating 37-year-olds since I was 18. So yeah,
Okay.
I try to stay between 35 and 40. That's your safe place to be.
Okay.
Nice, warm, comfortable. When they start getting like early 40s, they care less about you, about all the special little talent you think you have. But 35 to 40, they're thinking that you're the man with all the special talents they don't have.
Okay. That just so much advice for so many people right now, Jamie, and you're very passionate about it too. Holy moly. All right, let's get to talking a little bit about some hunting stuff. Let's do a recap of
I thought we were talking about hunting.
Well, we're not hunting cougars, okay? We're going to be the mountain lion season in South Dakota is going pretty well, actually, by the way. So this goes back to married outdoor hunting life as well. For example, my wife hunts and fishes. So do my daughters. Makes it a heck of a lot easier for me to get what I want if they all get into it. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true, doesn't it? If they get into the hunting side of things too, I guess it does work that way. So, all right. So let's do a recap here. Antelope season this past fall. How did it go in the Wyoming side of things? And not only for everybody in that area, but are the numbers of antelopes still doing well in the Wyoming side?
So antelope-wise, so my archery hunts, I went 100%. Let me think here. So last year I did 4 for 5 the first week, 4 for 5 the second week, with tons of opportunities. And same thing with our rifle season. I also do guiding for another outfitter. He's the biggest antelope outfitter in the country, and they generally go 100% on their take. So the numbers here are so much greater than any other state that when somebody comes to Wyoming, you're never coming here and thinking yourself, boy, the antelope numbers are down, because they're everywhere. It's like the Serengeti out here. You have them in town, you have them, they're everywhere. So the numbers are down. The number of tags that are being allocated is down. I could throw some numbers out there, but just on the sake of not looking at those numbers for a minute, I don't want to be way off on it. But we definitely have reduced numbers. But the outfitters, the ranchers too run some hunts. Everybody's I've reduced the number of antelope I'm taking off those individual properties. But I have picked up more properties that I lease. And so the number of antelope hunts I do is the same. I'm just doing them on more ground.
Right.
And most of the ranchers and outfitters that I'm aware of are just reducing. So like mule deer are that's probably the one that's been taking the most, significant hit, and probably has the most long-term, has the bleakest outlook for Western big game is mule deer. They're really, I would say, of the animals that are struggling out there, it's probably mule deer more than anything.
Is that right? Wow.
Well, part of it has to do with out west is that they don't let any of these fires go. So they have an unchecked mountain lion population. There isn't a game warden out there that will be, I don't know if they even know. Maybe they just are being honest when they say they don't know, but the number of sightings, the number of incidental, non-target killings, whether it's by a vehicle or caught in gear and stuff. So there's that problem. And then when they don't, a lot of those mule deer are eating on browse. So clear cuts from logging companies are great for mule deer, right?
Yeah.
Mule deer like a really quiet place. They're not going to fight another animal for food. Whitetail will.
Yeah.
Elk will.
Yep.
Mule deer will. They'll move on. And so when they have an unregulated, like the elk, for instance, everybody with deeded ground has these elk sanctuaries. Same thing with whitetail, right? Everybody's trying to grow some world-class animals. So they're overpopulated within their own population on these small little areas. And then they're feeding them on top of each other, even with the elk. They got the feeding grounds, whitetail, everybody's feeding their damn whitetails. So it's like a perfect storm. That old growth mountain stuff, when they don't let it burn, So that's what burns off all that old buckbrush. That buckbrush generally is at its highest the protein content, wherever at 20, 30 years. Well, there's stuff here in our Laramie range that's over 70 years old. That doesn't exist in naturally. But since we don't do forest fires anymore, because there's huge money in fighting forest fires, it's enormous money in all that stuff. And you get a lot of people who, a lot of the times those houses like in California that up on those mountainsides are multi millionaires, and they have a lot to say about what they're. You imagine the fit that would be thrown if the house stayed and they just burnt those forests down with forest fires every 5 to 7 years. It just won't happen. So there's the browse for those deer is just slowly going away. That's of all the animals out here that the tags are going to be tougher and tougher to get. I mean, if a guy's thinking about doing a Western mule deer hunt, better be getting after that stuff.
So I just get a text message here, excuse me, from John Armand from Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV, and he sent me an article. It says non-resident Wyoming hunting tags could get a huge price hike, and he says they're talking huge increase in non-resident tags. Is that true? I mean, people want to go to Wyoming.
What huge actually looks like, but they're definitely going to be going up. So Wyoming's a relatively inexpensive state for a non-resident to come and hunt in. And so the governor assigned a task force. I was at probably 60% of those meetings. It was 2-day meetings every month for almost a year. And that's one of the biggest driving factors is just that our antelope hunts are $62. Our mule deer hunts are relatively close to that. Our elk hunts are around 500 or so, for the tag itself. So we're going to be more in line with the rest of the Western states, right? But the elk opportunities, they are going to end up removing our 7250 cap. So it's no longer this arbitrary number that once we hit that 7250, no more non-resident tags are available. So that's going away. So the overall for Wyoming, we're probably just from that probably increase another 1,000, 1,500 tags a year for non-resident hunters. The mule deer and antelope, I don't know how that when it hits the legislature, all this stuff still has to pass. This is the recommendation from that task force.
Sure.
And so, like the mule deer, our numbers are significantly. I would say our numbers have really been dropping. So everybody's just taking less mule deer. So, like I said, if you're trying to plan a mule deer hunt, you better be thinking about it because you're not going to go get one for this fall. I mean, I've been booked up for this fall for 2 years. So, I mean, you kind of have to get ahead of it a little bit. Antelope, there's always going to be really good antelope opportunities out here. We've got areas where where residents don't really bother to hunt, but the more sought after tags, the higher point areas are, those might end up being a little bit tougher. There was some talk about reducing the number of non-resident tags available for some of the more trophy record book type areas, but there's so few tags available in those areas anyways. As far as your percentage or chance of drawing that tag, it's not really going to change much.
But I just got a text message says antelope tags in Wyoming for non-resident are going up to $800. What it's going to cost this next year.
So first of all, that hasn't even gone to the legislator yet. So that isn't even, it's all speculation. But I didn't hear numbers of. So what is it? There might be somebody who knows. What's an antelope tag in Arizona? What's an antelope tag in Montana?
Right. Yeah.
What's a non-resident antelope tag in North Dakota?
Yeah.
I think our price is one of the considerations was how inexpensive we were compared to the other states. Like if you go to.
Well, hold that thought, Jamie. We're up against our second break here. We'll cover more of this coming in the second half of the hour. So stay with me. If you have questions or comments, you can find me, text me, but you can also call in 888-932-5682, 888-9-DAKOTA. That is the toll-free number. We'll be back right after these messages.
This is Todd with Rounds Angus of Union Center. We invite you to join us at the ranch Saturday, January 21st, 1 o'clock. We'll offer 33 yearling Black Angus bulls out of popular sires, Exemplify, Sits Resilient, and DL Wheelhouse. All bulls are backed by a first breeding season guarantee. For catalog and videos, visit roundsangusranch.com or call 605-985-5469. See you at the ranch January 21st, 1 o'clock for the Rounds Angus Bull Sale.
For over 80 years, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been your locally owned hometown bank, an honor we take great pride in. And our customer satisfaction has always been our most important goal. We've grown along with the communities we serve and will continue to do so with our pledge of modern banking convenience with old-fashioned hometown service. From remote deposit options to online mortgage applications, we are happy to serve you wherever you are. Learn more at dakotacommunitybank.com. That's dakotacommunitybank.com.
There's a reason that you're seeing more Red Angus cattle in the country. Great mama cows, high weaning weights, and easy keepers. Join the Schrieffer family for their annual production sales Saturday, January 28th at the ranch just north of Golden Valley. They'll be selling 2-year-old Red Angus bulls, registered bred heifers, and commercial open replacement heifers. Free delivery on bulls within 500 miles, and you can bid online at DV Auction. The bullpen is always open, so come by anytime and view the cattle before the sale. Schrieffer Red Angus annual production sale Saturday, January 28th at the ranch just north of Golden Valley.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
The 29th annual Top Cut Bull Sale, Saturday, January 28th at the 21 Angus Ranch, New England, North Dakota. Selling 164 top cut bulls, including 100% offering from 3 sires, KG Justified, Sit Stellar, and SAV Resource. Born and raised right at the ranch to give you well-mannered, extremely uniform, and deep-body genetics. For a sale book or to view the sale videos, go to 21angus.com. 21 Angus Ranch Top Cut Bull Sale, Saturday, January 28th at the ranch, just east of New England.
Cattlemen, do you want market-topping calves at sale time? You need predictable Charlotte genetics from Sorority Charlotte. Hi, this is Kaylee from Sorority Charlotte Ranch. Our 40th annual bull sale is Friday, January 27th at the ranch west of Bowen. We are offering 65 performance-tested yearling Charlie bulls, and again this year, 5 registered replacement heifers. Free delivery up to 300 miles, and we'll feed them free till April 1st. Sorority Charlotte, January 27th. You can follow us on Facebook and DV Auction. If you haven't tried a Sorority Charlie bull, ask the cattleman that has. He's the one with the big smile on sale day.
Piper's Western team of Andy Murdoch and Jim Sabby would like to invite you to sit down and talk about the future of land planning. Whether you're looking at selling, buying, or options to hand it down to the next generation, Andy and Jim will lay out all of the options for you. It's a great time to buy or sell, and with interest rates to make it profitable. Piper's Western team, Andy Murdoch and Jim Sabby. For more information or land updates, go to pifers.com. MoPro Guide Service, the best on Lake Oahe. Brent and his staff will give you the most enjoyable fishing experience, always having the latest in electronics, gear, and the most comfortable Lund boat on the water. Fish with somebody who lives in Mobridge, South Dakota, the heart of Lake Oahe. If you need a place to stay, the Morest Motel has newly updated rooms with free internet, a family-owned and operated business. Go to OaheWalleyes.com. That's OAHE Walleyes.com for the best fishing experience Lake Oahe has to offer. Western Frontier Insurance. Agents that understand you, your needs, and the community. Whether you're looking for coverage on your farm, ranch, home, or auto, you can trust that Western Frontier Insurance will find you a combination of price and coverage that works for you. No fancy jingles, no talking boxes or animals, just good neighbors helping to keep you covered. Western Frontier Insurance. Offices in Hazen, Washburn, and Wilton.
On that road, but don't you worry, one day I'll settle down. And when that time comes, I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around.
Welcome back, everybody. Excuse me. Yeah, that's right. Dakota Prairie Outdoors continues here on a Saturday morning, about 35 minutes after the hour. Good morning. Scott Bachmeyer with you here. And Don't forget, Mule Deer Foundation Northern Badlands Chapter 21st Annual Banquet, Saturday, February 11th at the Baymont Inn and Suites. I'm still calling it the Seven Seas here. Jamie, you remember Seven Seas up in Mandan? They call it the Baymont now.
Yep.
Now,
Yeah.
you were discussing how the mule deer are in Wyoming anyway. We're talking with Jamie Olson from Box Creek Outfitters, Wyoming. Anyway, the mule deer, the habitat and everything is kind of going away. This is why the Mule Deer Foundation exists, is to try to help out with some of those projects. They doing anything in Wyoming? Is that chapter in Wyoming doing something to help with this?
Yeah, they're at the meetings.
Okay.
They have surveys that they put out with their members. Here's the thing about this. When I go to these meetings, right, there's state representatives there. The head of the Game and Fish is there. There's an appointed task force from in every state. When you call your local representative up, when you call maybe not your local game warden, write a letter to their write a letter directly to the Game and Fish.
Yeah.
But they really do listen. When I'm sitting in those meetings, they talk about the guy that called them that week and had a passionate and articulated point. You don't need to just sit there and get mad and swear and stuff like that. They take that information. I mean, especially like the local representatives and stuff like that. They want to hear from you about these things. And man, if 10 guys they talk to that week, we sit in those meetings and we'll hear about every flipping guy you talk to and about what his individual opinion is. And so when you wonder why laws get passed and you just think that you and all your friends don't agree with that law, there was 10 people that called that representative or sent them an email, and you don't have to hound them. You don't have to be friends with them, but they will listen to you. They really do it, and take the time to get involved with that stuff locally. This national stuff, I mean, your vote don't mean shit. You need to know that, but it just doesn't. You ain't deciding who the president is. But on the local stuff, you need to pick out who goes on your school board and who your county commissioners are, and you need to be looking at who your your local state representatives are. You should know who they are, because they will listen, and they do take that information forward. And how it affects your local Game and Fish is drastic. They really do not want a bunch of residents being mad about the stuff that they're doing, because it jeopardizes their job. The governor doesn't want to listen to everybody being mad at the Game and Fish, the local. So contact those people, be polite about it, but they really do listen to that stuff.
Then the big thing is being polite about it. Now, we're going to catch up on some text messages here. So North Dakota does not have a non-resident antelope season. South Dakota does. I think it's around $250, $200 in Montana. We were talking before the break here. And my question is to you, are you going to see hunting gets so expensive that only people that have deeper pockets are going to be able to continue hunting?
I think that might be true to an extent on the guy who wants to go shoot a 200-inch mule deer and a 380 bull and a 85-inch antelope. I think that might be true. Yeah. But as far as the guy that wants to go out and have a good solid hunting experience, let's start with cows and does, for instance. Like if you come out here with your, let's say you buy a buck tag and you want to bring your 14-year-old daughter with. An antelope tag for her with a guided hunt is $300, and the buy the tag is for a youth is probably like $27. It's relatively inexpensive.
Yeah.
Same thing with cow elk. Cow elk hunts are so. I think a guy has to ask himself, because the hunting experience, whether you shoot a cow elk or a bull elk, all the the mechanics of it are all the same.
Yeah.
How excited you get, that's on you. But I think the whole market has been driven towards these trophy record book class animals that everybody sees in the magazines and on TV. And that's what's driving that price up, because there's only so many of those animals that are available. Even like my mule deer hunts, I sell my management hunts for, less than half. Less than half for a management hunt.
Yeah.
But everybody wants to shoot, for like the class of bucks I'm shooting on my property, you're looking at about a 165 to a 170 is what we're shooting for. If you get up in the mountains, you can be looking at those. Honestly, if I was going to be getting on a horseback when I guide Gray's River hunts, I'm not trying to bring anything back to camp that's isn't at least a 175.
Right.
And we pass up 165s all the time up there. So, I mean, but it's a way more expensive hunt, 5, 6, 7 points. My place, 2 points in a special. So it just depends on, a guy really needs to ask himself, if I'm going to be happy with a 260 bull elk, that's a whole, I mean, if you go to an outfitter, for instance, or a rancher, and you tell them, I'm looking for the biggest darn thing you've got on the property, they're going to charge you accordingly because they only have a few of those.
Exactly.
But if you just go under reasonably and say, I want a good mature animal, like a whitetail, I want a good mature animal, and maybe that good mature animal is a 135. Well, so you got to really ask yourself, what am I trying to get here? If I'm looking for food for my freezer and a great hunting experience with my family, you don't need to break the bank. But if everybody in your group wants to shoot a 160 whitetail, a 180 mule deer, and a 340 bull elk, yeah, it's going to cost you a couple bucks because there's not very many of those animals, relatively speaking, to the overall population.
Well, Jamie, let's go to the phone lines here. We have a caller, a 315 area code here. Welcome, caller. What's your first name? Hello, are you there? I must have hung up on us. So telemarketer, it could be. That we could get your extended warranty fixed while we're talking antelope and hunting anyway. Oh, speaking of which, your text message comes in. Sorry to switch subjects on you, but people have questions, and I want you to have the chance to answer this. Says, I'd be curious what Jamie's thoughts are on the corner-to-corner public land dispute that's happening in Wyoming. And just kind of as a recap, there's a lot of public land checkerboarded with private land, and some hunters went to the corner and crossed that way to the next public land. What's your thoughts on all this here?
They're probably going to win that.
On what side? They did not trespass?
Well, I mean, yeah, so it's a big deal. The thought that your property line extends to infinity, it just really isn't the case. I don't agree with it. What happens is that they get a big chunk of ground that's landlocked, and then now they got their own private hunting preserve. And some of that landlocked stuff, I mean, over here, you might have 50,000 acres of landlocked state land, for instance.
Yeah.
That you just run cattle on and sheep on. And, oh, by the way, they hunt it. And the ranchers out here don't need to have an outfitter's license. So without an outfitter's license, you can't get the permit to hunt with paid clients on state land.
Okay.
But there isn't anybody out there regulating that. So there's hundreds of thousands of acres in this state that's completely landlocked, that one family who has the grazing rights in perpetuity. It just goes on and on and on. They've got this extra land that they get to hunt. I've got some landlocked state land, a section here and a section there, but as far as those huge tracts of land, I mean, my opinion is that you should either be able to jump that corner, or at the very, like North Dakota, you have to provide access. And here they just close all that stuff off. And it's a very small percentage of the population that's taking advantage of a state-owned piece of property. I don't know. What do you think about that? You're a landowner.
I think you should respect the landowner rights. When it's corner to corner like that, I mean, it seems to me like you could step across that corner and be able to get onto the next piece of public land. I don't see an issue with that. I do, however, see an issue of going through private land to get there, and you think that you have the right privilege to do that. And
if the state isn't, I think if the state would maintain that road, then I think there should be some conversation about it. The state's going to maintain the gate, if they're going to maintain the road, and I think there should be Arizona has a station where you sign in when you go to, you drive to the
I love that idea. Don't get me wrong. I love the sign in stuff. I do.
Yep. And so you'd have a board, you'd open up the big metal box, it'd have a sheet in there. You'd write down your name, address, license number, so as a landowner, you would always know who's back there. If there was any vandalism, that's the biggest issue, throwing your trash down and stuff like that. Make sure you close the gate or open the gate. If the gate's open, leave it open. Gate's closed, close the gate after you immediately. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah. The state should maintain the road though, because the problem with everybody just driving in there is that the roads get destroyed.
Well, and like in our area, Eric says, isn't there a section line right away? That's kind of a gray area too, because it depends on, is it, yes, there is a section line right away, but in a lot of these areas, they're not, we don't have square grids where I live. You know what I mean? It's not square. I mean, there's nothing on section lines out here. So you got to guesstimate or try to walk that section line to get in there, which you're fine. But if it's not a trail, you can't hunt off of it. You can't drive on it. You have to walk it. So, I mean, text message from Jamie says, I don't need to shoot a trophy buck, but I definitely need to shoot a nice one. What pride is there in shooting a 1 to 2 year old dink? None, unless it's a first time hunter or some old guy who doesn't think he's going to live to see another hunting season. Which is true, but Jamie too, on your side, you're probably not the kind of guy that's going to pay an outfitter to go hunting because he has land to go hunt on.
Yeah. The size thing, just to be really clear about that, we shoot mature animals that aren't trophy. Trophy is a trophy. Record class animals all the time. So I'm not suggesting that. He's right. Nobody wants to be shooting 2.5-year-olds. Nobody shoots 2.5-year-olds on my place. There's an outfitter out there that would be cool with that. You might have the 12-year-old girl one time that you snuck over a hill, and that's the shots you get. You got to be, there's time and place for some of that stuff. But you're shooting 4.5-year-old or older, and generally there's a very small percentage of those that would be considered record book class within that. And it would take, how much money you think about this? If you had 10 antelope on your place, 10 mule deer, 10 whitetail bucks, right? 10 of them. How long would it take you to grow, and what percentage of them? So let's say you're hoping for a 160 out of that 10. How many do you think are going to make that? Is it 1 out of 10 that makes that?
Exactly. Yeah.
And so that being said, let's say it's 3 out of 10. I think you'd be pretty good if you got 3 out of 10. So then the other 7, right? There's no economic value in those if you don't have somebody there if you're just going to let them tip over and die of old age, right? And there's nothing wrong with that too. But if you wanted to harvest those animals, you can't sell a 130 for the same price as you're selling that 160. You can't have 10 people come onto your property and say, hopefully one of you shoots that 160. The way I do it is, if I got mule deer, for instance, if I got 3 mid 160 mule deer on my place, I might sell 2 tags to sell, not sell 2 tags, 2 hunts to sell, hopefully shoot 2 of those bucks. And then I'm selling the other ones as management hunts.
Right.
And I don't deviate from that. It's like I would think that would be it's one thing when you got public land, you don't know, but I'm a trapper. I'm on these places. I don't trap the first season. I don't trap just the denning season. I'm there year round.
Yeah.
On my properties. I know what's out there. I can pick and choose. And a lot of these outfitters, especially the ones that are working with the ranchers, you're farming those animals. It sounds bad, I suppose, but I mean, it's a management style to make sure that you're shooting good, mature animals, but not trying to sell them all as record books and have some guy come from from Ohio all the way out here to shoot a mule deer, and you're pointing at a 133-year-old and telling them that's some kind of monster.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
let me ask you this. I have my issue with people that have buck tags. It's kind of along the same line here, but this is, a do-it-yourself, they come out to the public land, federal land, or whatever. And just because they got drawn for a muley buck tag, which is kind of a hard thing to get sometimes, right? In the North and South Dakota side of things, it's the coveted tag. And to me, I have an issue with it. They'll take any buck they see. It could be a yearling. It could be an old mature one or something. It seems like, especially when it gets to the last weekend of the season, they just got to fill that tag. And I don't feel that way. I think of person should, you're not given the chance. Like you said, if it's 1 in 10, they get up to 160, 170 inch, and you're looking at trying to growing bigger deer, and people are like, how come there's no big deer left out in the Badlands? How come there's no big deer left? Well, there's a reason, because everybody's taking and filling that buck tag if they can with anything they find in their sights.
I think
am I wrong thinking that?
No, especially on the do-it-yourselfers.
Yeah,
because we don't let them do that on the property.
Yeah,
I don't know of any guide or outfitter out here that would let that happen. But on the a guy should buy a buck and a doe tag, because like the doe tags are relatively inexpensive in most states. Have that doe tag in your pocket. Look for that big buck, and then when it comes down to it, you're at the very least can take the meat home. And I'm telling you, those a lot of times those females will taste better than the males do, especially in full rut. And if that big buck stands up, then you get a shot at that big buck.
Yeah.
But you're not killing that forkhorn just so you got, and then your excuse is that you had some freezer meat. Go buy that doe tag. Spend the extra. Here, our doe tags are, I don't know, $47 for a non-resident. And the youth ones are probably half that. I don't remember all these numbers off the top of my head, but
Yeah.
they're relatively inexpensive. Put that in your pocket. Talk to, but if you're getting an outfitted hunt, they better be putting you on some good mature animals. Now, They may not be the world's biggest animals, record book size, but the maturity, your guide should be able to tell the age of the animal. That's what you're paying them for. Anybody can look at big horns and tell you it's a big animal, but they should be able to age that animal to an extent, and they should have enough familiarity with the property that they aren't having you look at. So I'm not stopping. My guides aren't either looking at animals that aren't going to be something that we want to hunt.
Yeah. So I hate to cut you off. We got 2 minutes left here, Jamie, on the show, but you mentioned one thing. You're on the land, hunting coyotes and trapping and doing what you do for that farmer rancher.
Yep.
How important is it for those relationships, for people that do it yourself, to make those connections with those landowners, because they're out there every single day seeing what's going on. And when they say, well, there's not a lot of deer this year, you should probably believe them, right?
Yeah. They're honest about it. Everybody thinks that they've got this sanctuary of hidden animals that they're keeping you from. And the other thing is, if you're on the property, all the obvious stuff, pick up your trash and close gates and don't make ruts. But if the rancher needs some help branding, offer to help branding. Bring some food. You don't even have to bother getting in the way and cause problems because you don't know what you're doing. You hear there's a branding? Bring them some food. Bring them some pizzas. Bring them some potluck of whatever sorts. Help out with some fencing. Don't just show up during hunting season with your kid looking all sorrowful because you can't find any place to hunt. You should be there in the off season, offering to help out. Send them a gift certificate. See them in the bar, buy them a couple drinks. I'm telling you what, that goes a long way. Because they get the properties that I have, I'm outfitting because they got so overburdened with locals bothering them, guilting them, getting mad about terrorizing that, they overhunting those properties, that I got pulled in just to field all the phone calls.
Yeah.
It's exhausting for landowners.
Do you see the way of outfitting being the future? I mean, are we going to be able to, there's always going to be public land you can go do it yourself type thing, but when it comes to private property, you're going to see more and more landowners doing what they're doing around your area, saying, you know what, I'm going to bring in a third party and just let them deal with it.
I think so. Or else, really have somebody in their family at the ranch that wants to bother with it. But ranchers are ranchers generally and don't have the time to be dealing with all that stuff. But I think there's getting to be so many people. Obviously, since we were kids hunting, things have changed a lot. There's way more people in the field, and there's still the same amount of land. And what an outfitter allows for the rancher is that he gets to manage the grazing with the cows, and the outfitter comes in and helps him manage that herd a little bit with the antelope and mule deer and elk and stuff like that.
That's a good point.
Elk aren't good stewards of the land. Talk to a rancher about the problems with having 30 head of elk on your property. Right?
I can testify to that. Jamie, before we go here, how do people find you at Box Creek Outfitters?
All the social media stuff, Facebook, boxcreekoutfitters.com, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff.
All right, Jamie, hold on.
Jamie P. Olson.
Jamie P. Olson, Box Creek Outfitters. If you want hunting advice and dating advice, you got it right there. Stay strong, everybody. Have yourself a good weekend. Drink some milk, eat some meat, thank stations, and have yourself a great week. And see you at the Bull Sale in Union Center. All right, we're clear off that. We're on YouTube still, Jamie. Thanks, man.
That was fun.
It was a good time. We could do plenty of hours on this stuff, man. There's no doubt about it. A guy could continue on with this and just have a blast with it. And
Well, there's a lot to talk about there.
oh,
That's
there is, yeah. Well, I
the
might be giving you a call here. I don't know. How busy are you here in the from now until I guess when things really get hopping for you? What's the next thing? Turkey, I suppose, is guiding turkeys.
no spring coyote work. We start lambing. We'll start
Oh,
lambing. Yeah, so we start lambing about the 18th of May, and I'm talking roughly 5,500, probably 6,500 ewe lamb pairs are what I'm working on, which is nuts. There's counties in Wyoming that don't have, the whole counties don't even have that many sheep. So I've got a big,
yeah.
big undertaking. So, this time of year, with the breeding season, February 15th coming up upon us, that's really going to be peak breeding season. I'm trying to identify pairs right now. I was out calling yesterday, because the snow is so deep that running gear is really tough right now. You're breaking snow, opening everything up. But, so it just really gets, a lot of dog work, a lot of decoy work in the springtime. And then in July is when I start spooling up for the archery antelope hunts. When I start putting all the cameras up and getting blinds out and all that stuff. And then the second archery gets done, I'm up on the mountain, the bear hunts for 3 weeks. And then I'm back down. Then I do like another 5 weeks or so of mule deer and antelope. And then it's like November 1st. Then it's just hard trapping November, December. And then the weather usually kind of kicks me off a little bit.
Okay. Well, I'll probably try to get you maybe sometime in February. I'll try to get you back on here. We'll talk a little bit about, coyotes pairing up here and breeding season and all that.
Yeah, whatever you want to talk about, man. We can talk more about dating. We can talk more about roads.
So, I mean, if you're out there with 6,500 ewes, I mean, you got dates. You got 6,500 dates. I mean, come on. You know what time?
Yeah, but they see me coming these days. I've been there a long time. We got like they're on the move when they see me. Nobody's sticking around. Nobody's standing still.
You know what time it is in Montana when you see a sheep caught in a fence, don't you? Mountain time. Right?
Well, you know why cowboys wear cowboy boots?
So they can put the back legs of the sheep inside there and they can't get away.
They don't kick as much.
Yeah. I heard that. You know what time? What did they say? You know what you call somebody? And I think you can pick any state. I'm going to pick on Wyoming just because I can. You know what you call a guy when you see him have a pig under one arm and a sheep under the other? Bisexual.
I was going to say diversified.
Hey, I gotta hit the road and get to a bull sale, my friend. Thank you so much. Have yourself a good day.
All right, Scott. Have a great weekend, bud.
You too. See ya.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, sorry, YouTube. I forgot. So those jokes are on YouTube. Okay, well, fair enough. Thanks for sticking with me here on YouTube. We'll catch you later. Have a good one. I'm hitting the road.